Every morning you promise yourself that today will be different. That today you'll finally become healthier, calmer, more confident, more disciplined. But somehow, the moment you wake up, the exhaustion is already there. Not just in your body, but in your mind, in your emotions, in your soul. You open your eyes and instantly feel behind. Behind in life. Behind on your goals. Behind the woman you know you could become. And before your feet even touch the floor, you reach for your phone. You start scrolling, comparing, consuming everyone else's energy before protecting your own. And slowly, day after day, your mornings stop feeling peaceful. They start feeling heavy. The worst part is, most women think this is normal. Feeling constantly tired, emotionally overwhelmed, unmotivated, disconnected from themselves, running on caffeine, stress, anxiety, and survival mode. But what if I told you, your mornings may be shaping your entire life more than you realize? Because science now shows that the first hour after waking directly affects your dopamine levels, cortisol rhythm, mental clarity, focus, emotional regulation, metabolism, hormones, stress response, and even your sleep later that night. Your morning is not just the start of your day. It's the blueprint for your energy, your confidence, your habits, your glow, your mindset, your future. And maybe that's why some women seem calm, radiant, focused, feminine, and emotionally grounded, while others constantly feel burnt out, overstimulated, anxious, and exhausted. Not because they're better, not because they're luckier, but because their habits are different. The truth is, the version of you that you dream about becoming, she is created by the things you repeatedly do every morning. The way you wake up, the way you speak to yourself, the way you fuel your body, the way you protect your peace, the way you care for your mind before the world gains access to it. And in today's world, where women are constantly overstimulated, distracted, emotionally drained, and pressured to do everything perfectly, having intentional morning habits is no longer a luxury. It's survival. Because you cannot build a peaceful life from a chaotic nervous system. You cannot glow differently while living the exact same way every day. And you cannot become her while repeating the habits that are destroying your energy. According to neuroscience research, your brain is especially sensitive in the first hour after waking. That means what you do during this time literally influences your focus, mood, stress levels, motivation, and productivity for the rest of the day. And honestly, most people unknowingly sabotage themselves within the first 5 minutes. Checking notifications, rushing, skipping water, ignoring sunlight, drinking caffeine on an empty stomach, starting the day stressed, distracted, and disconnected from themselves, then wondering why they feel mentally exhausted by noon. But today that changes. Because in this video we're diving into the best science-backed morning habits for women who want to feel healthier, softer, stronger, calmer, more productive, more feminine, more emotionally balanced, and truly become the best version of themselves. These are not unrealistic influencer routines. You do not need to wake up at 4 a.m. You do not need a perfect life. And you do not need to become perfect overnight. You just need habits that work with your biology instead of against it. Habits backed by neuroscience, behavioral psychology, circadian rhythm research, wellness experts, and real science about how the female body and brain respond to stress, sleep, movement, hydration, nutrition, and emotional regulation. And one of these habits, the simplest one of all, might completely change the way you feel every single day. So if you've been feeling stuck, unmotivated, emotionally drained, or disconnected from yourself lately, this video is for you. Because becoming her starts in the morning. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. The truth is, most people think their life is controlled by motivation. But science says something completely different. Your life is often controlled by your habits, especially the ones you repeat every single morning. Because the moment you wake up, your brain enters one of the most impressionable and neurologically sensitive states of the entire day. According to neuroscience research, the first hour after waking plays a major role in regulating attention, emotional processing, stress response, and behavioral patterns. That means your morning routine is either working for you or quietly working against you. And most women don't even realize it. They wake up already anxious, already overstimulated, already emotionally exhausted before the day has even started. Not because they're lazy, not because they lack discipline, but because their nervous system never gets a chance to feel safe, calm, or regulated. See, your body naturally releases a hormone called cortisol shortly after you wake up. And despite what people think, cortisol itself is not bad. In healthy amounts, it helps wake you up, increase alertness, and prepare your body for the day ahead. But here's where the problem begins. The moment you wake up and immediately grab your phone, check stressful notifications, scroll social media, rush out of bed, or flood your brain with information, you amplify that stress response even more. Your brain instantly shifts into reaction mode. And over time, this constant overstimulation trains your body to live in survival mode. That's why so many women today feel mentally drained, emotionally reactive, constantly overwhelmed, unmotivated, exhausted all the time, even when they technically rest. Because true rest is not just sleep. It's nervous system recovery. And your mornings either help heal your nervous system or quietly damage it. Behavioral psychologists also explain that the brain forms emotional and behavioral momentum early in the day, meaning the way you begin your morning often influences your mood, focus, cravings, confidence, and productivity for hours afterward. So when your mornings feel rushed, chaotic, loud, stressful, and reactive, your brain starts expecting the rest of your life to feel that way too. But calm mornings create something different. They tell your body, you are safe, you are grounded, you are in control. You do not need to rush through your life. And honestly, that changes everything. Because confidence is not only built through big achievements. Sometimes confidence is built through small promises you keep to yourself every morning. Drinking water instead of scrolling. Opening the curtains instead of hiding under stress. Moving your body instead of shutting down emotionally. Fueling yourself properly instead of surviving on caffeine and anxiety. Little habits. Big transformation. And maybe that's why some women glow differently. Not because their lives are perfect, but because their mornings are intentional. Your morning isn't just the beginning of your day. It's the foundation for your mood, confidence, focus, eating habits, emotional balance, energy levels, and even the way you speak to yourself. It shapes your decisions, your mindset, your patience, your cravings, your discipline, your peace. And once you understand that, you stop treating mornings casually, because becoming her starts before the rest of the world wakes up. And the first habit is something most people ruin within the first 30 seconds of waking up. Touching their phone. Before they drink water. Before they stretch. Before they breathe deeply. Before they even fully wake up. They immediately hand their mind over to the internet. Most women wake up and instantly consume other people's lives before checking in with themselves. And because it feels normal, nobody realizes how damaging this habit actually is. You open your eyes and suddenly your brain is flooded with notifications, texts, emails, bad news, people's opinions, perfect bodies, perfect lives, perfect relationships. And before your day even begins, your nervous system is already overstimulated. You haven't even brushed your teeth yet, but your mind is already tired. And honestly, this is one of the biggest reasons so many women feel mentally exhausted all the time. Not because they're weak, not because they're lazy, but because their brain never gets a moment of peace. According to neuroscience research, social media and phone notifications trigger dopamine activity in the brain, the same reward system connected to cravings, impulsive behavior, and overstimulation. And when you expose your brain to that level of stimulation immediately after waking up, you train your mind to seek distraction before presence. That's why so many people struggle to focus. Their brain becomes addicted to constant input, constant scrolling, constant checking, constant noise. And over time, silence starts feeling uncomfortable. Stillness feels boring. Peace feels unfamiliar. But your mind was never designed to wake up in survival mode every single day. Studies also show that early morning screen exposure and excessive social media use can increase anxiety, stress levels, mental fatigue, and emotional comparison. And honestly, you can feel it. You wake up happy. Then suddenly, you feel behind in life, insecure about yourself, overwhelmed by responsibilities, emotionally drained, mentally scattered, all because your brain absorbed the emotions of the internet before grounding itself first. And this habit quietly affects more than your focus. It affects your confidence too. Because every morning, many women unconsciously start comparing themselves before they've even had a chance to appreciate themselves. You see someone else's body, someone else's relationship, someone else's success, someone else's lifestyle, and suddenly your peaceful morning becomes a competition. That's dangerous for your emotional health, because comparison creates pressure. Pressure creates stress, and stress slowly disconnects you from yourself. The truth is, the healthiest women are not always the women doing the most. Sometimes they're simply the women protecting their peace. And one of the most powerful things you can do for your mental health is reclaim the first moments of your morning. Not for the internet. Not for other people. For you. So instead of waking up and instantly scrolling, try this. Keep your phone away from your bed. Not beside your pillow. Not under your blanket. Not in your hand before your eyes are even fully open. Force yourself to physically get out of bed before touching it. Then give yourself at least the first 30 to 60 minutes without social media. And yes, at first it may feel uncomfortable, because most people are addicted to stimulation without realizing it. But eventually something beautiful starts happening. Your mind becomes quieter. Your mornings feel softer. Your anxiety decreases. You feel more present, more clear, more emotionally stable. Instead of immediately consuming the world, you finally hear yourself think again. Replace scrolling with things that actually regulate your nervous system. Drink a glass of water. Open your curtains. Sit in silence. Stretch your body. Go outside for sunlight. Journal your thoughts. Breathe slowly before touching technology, because the energy you protect in the morning often becomes the energy you carry throughout the rest of the day. And maybe becoming her starts with learning that not every morning deserves instant access to you. Your peace is precious. Protect it carefully. And the next habit might be the biggest energy reset your body has been missing. Sunlight. Not another supplement. Not another expensive wellness trend. Not another complicated routine. Just sunlight. Something so simple, yet so many people barely experience it anymore. And honestly, this modern lifestyle has disconnected women from the very things their bodies naturally need to feel healthy, energized, emotionally balanced, and alive. We wake up indoors, work indoors, scroll indoors, live under artificial light, stare at screens for hours, and rarely give our bodies the natural signals they were biologically designed to respond to. Then we wonder, why am I always tired? Why is my mood so unstable? Why do I feel mentally foggy all the time? Why can't I sleep properly? Why do I feel emotionally drained even when I rest? No wonder so many people feel exhausted every single day. We've disconnected ourselves from nature, while expecting our minds and bodies to function perfectly. But your body was never designed to wake up to phone screens before sunlight. According to sleep and neuroscience research, getting natural sunlight shortly after waking helps regulate your circadian rhythm, your body's internal clock that controls sleep, energy, hormones, metabolism, mood, and alertness. And this matters more than most people realize, because when your circadian rhythm becomes disrupted, your entire body starts feeling out of balance. Your sleep quality suffers. Your mood shifts. Your focus decreases. Your cravings increase. Your energy crashes. And your nervous system struggles to regulate itself properly. That's why many women feel tired all day, then suddenly wide awake at night. Their body clock is confused. But exposure to natural morning light helps signal to your brain that it's time to feel awake, focused, and alert. It also supports healthy melatonin production later at night, which improves sleep quality and overall recovery. And honestly, your body craves this naturally. That feeling when sunlight touches your skin in the morning? That peaceful feeling when you open your curtains and fresh light enters your room? That's not just aesthetic. That's biology. Morning sunlight also supports serotonin production, a neurotransmitter connected to mood, emotional well-being, calmness, and happiness, which explains why spending even a few minutes outside can completely shift your emotional state. Suddenly, your mind feels clearer, your body feels lighter, your anxiety softens, your mood improves, your energy feels more natural, not because your problems disappeared, but because your body finally received something it needed. Your body needs natural light to remember how to feel alive. And maybe that's why peaceful mornings feel so healing. Opening your curtains slowly, sitting on the balcony with coffee or tea, taking a quiet morning walk, watching sunlight enter your room, hearing birds outside before the noise of the world begins. Those moments may seem small, but they regulate your nervous system in powerful ways. And honestly, women today are overstimulated enough already. Constant notifications, constant pressure, constant comparison, constant noise. That's why calm morning habits matter so much. Because healing is not always dramatic. Sometimes healing looks like sunlight on your face at 7 a.m. Sometimes healing looks like walking slowly instead of rushing. Sometimes healing looks like stepping outside before checking the internet. Even just 5 to 15 minutes of sunlight in the morning can make a difference. So tomorrow morning, before you touch social media, before the stress begins, before the world demands your attention, open your curtains, step outside, let your body wake up naturally, go for a short walk, sit near a window, drink your water in the sunlight, allow yourself a few peaceful moments before the chaos of the day begins. because becoming her also means reconnecting with the things your body has been begging for. And even with better sleep and sunlight, there's another habit silently draining women every single morning. And even with better sleep and sunlight, there's another habit silently draining women every single morning: skipping protein. And honestly, this one affects far more than people realize. Because what you eat first thing in the morning doesn't just affect your body. It affects your energy, your focus, your mood, your cravings, your hormones, even your confidence. Yet so many women start their mornings with sugary coffee drinks, pastries, cereal, energy drinks, nothing at all. Then by midday they feel exhausted, anxious, shaky, bloated, emotionally irritable, craving sugar constantly, unable to focus, and they blame themselves. But often it's not a lack of discipline. It's blood sugar instability. According to nutrition and metabolic health research, protein helps stabilize blood sugar levels, improve satiety, support muscle health, and provide more sustained energy throughout the day. Which means your breakfast is either helping regulate your body or creating an energy crash before noon. And this is especially important for women, because hormonal balance and stable blood sugar are deeply connected. When blood sugar spikes too quickly from sugary breakfasts or skipping meals entirely, your body often responds with energy crashes, cravings, irritability, mental fog, and increased stress hormones. clevelandclinic.org. That's why so many women feel emotionally overwhelmed before the day even fully starts. Not because they're too emotional, but because their body is running on stress, caffeine, and unstable energy. And honestly, society normalized this for so long. Women surviving on iced coffee, skipping breakfast, eating tiny meals all day, ignoring hunger cues, feeling guilty for nourishing themselves properly, then wondering why they constantly feel tired and disconnected from their bodies. But your body is not the enemy. Your body is constantly communicating with you. The headaches, the cravings, the exhaustion, the irritability, the brain fog, those are signals. And one of the simplest ways to support your body in the morning is by giving it enough protein. Because a sugary breakfast gives temporary comfort, but stable energy creates confidence. There's something powerful about feeling mentally clear instead of crashing by 11 a.m. About feeling energized naturally instead of desperately reaching for another coffee. About feeling emotionally balanced instead of overstimulated and reactive all day. And the beautiful thing is, this habit doesn't need to be complicated. It's not about perfection. It's about nourishment. Simple protein-rich breakfasts can make a huge difference. Greek yogurt with fruit, eggs and toast, protein smoothies, cottage cheese, oatmeal with added protein, avocado toast with eggs, chia pudding with protein powder. Small changes, big impact. Because when your body feels supported, your mind often feels safer too. And honestly, many women don't realize how deeply connected nutrition is to emotional wellness. When your body constantly experiences crashes and stress spikes, your nervous system stays dysregulated. That affects mood, patience, focus, motivation, self-control, emotional resilience, which explains why unhealthy habits often feel harder to break when your body is undernourished. But when your energy becomes stable, your life starts feeling more stable too. You think more clearly, you move differently, you feel calmer, more grounded, more in control of yourself. And maybe becoming her starts with finally learning to nourish yourself instead of just surviving. Because healing isn't only skincare and aesthetics. Sometimes healing looks like eating enough protein in the morning. Sometimes self-care looks like balancing your blood sugar before balancing everyone else's needs. And later in this video, I'll explain the tiny morning habit that dramatically affects confidence and mental clarity. And maybe becoming her starts with finally learning to nourish yourself instead of just surviving. But there's another habit that changes not only your body, but your entire emotional state: movement. And no, this is not about punishing workouts. It's not about trying to become smaller. It's not about exhausting yourself at 5 a.m. to prove your worth. Because honestly, many women already put enough pressure on themselves. This is about something deeper. This is about learning how to move your body in a way that supports your mind, your nervous system, your confidence, and your emotional well-being. Because movement is not just physical. Movement is emotional too. Have you ever noticed how different you feel after even a short walk? How your mind suddenly feels lighter? How your anxiety softens a little? How your thoughts become clearer? That's not random. According to mental health and neuroscience research, physical movement helps release endorphins, chemicals in the brain associated with improved mood and reduced stress. Exercise also supports dopamine production, which affects motivation, focus, emotional regulation, and feelings of reward. And honestly, this matters so much in today's world, because many women wake up already emotionally overwhelmed, already carrying stress, pressure, responsibilities, anxiety, self-doubt. Then they stay physically still while their mind spirals all morning, scrolling, overthinking, comparing, worrying. But movement interrupts that cycle. Movement reminds your body, you are alive, you are capable, you are not stuck. And maybe that's why so many people underestimate the emotional power of simple morning movement. Because movement changes your emotional state before the world gets access to you, before the notifications, before the stress, before everyone starts needing something from you. You choose yourself first. And honestly, that's powerful. But here's the most important part. It does not need to be extreme. You do not need perfect body, a gym membership, intense workouts, punishment, obsession, perfection, because wellness should not feel like torture. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is move gently, stretching your body in the morning, going for a quiet walk, doing yoga in your room, dancing while making breakfast, breathing deeply while your body slowly wakes up. Simple movement still counts. And research continues to show that even moderate physical activity can help reduce stress hormones like cortisol while improving mental clarity, energy levels, and emotional resilience. Which explains why movement often feels like emotional release. Because stress doesn't only live in the mind. Sometimes stress lives in the body too. In tight shoulders, heavy breathing, tension headaches, exhaustion, restlessness. And movement helps your body let some of that go. That's why after moving your body you often feel calmer, more focused, emotionally lighter, more motivated, more connected to yourself. Not because your life suddenly became perfect, but because your nervous system finally shifted out of survival mode for a moment. And honestly, so many women are waiting to feel motivated before they move. But motivation usually comes after action, not before it. Your brain will often try to convince you, maybe tomorrow. You're too tired. You don't feel like it. You'll start next week. That's why this habit matters so much. Move your body before your brain talks you out of it. Because once you start, your entire energy changes. Sometimes the glow-up starts with simply getting out of bed and choosing yourself. Not perfectly, not dramatically, just consistently. Because becoming her isn't built through one perfect morning. It's built through small choices repeated over and over again. And honestly, the next habit has less to do with productivity and everything to do with protecting your peace. And honestly, the next habit has less to do with productivity and everything to do with protecting your peace. Because your environment affects you more than you realize. The space you wake up in, the sounds around you, the level of chaos you experience first thing in the morning, all of it shapes your emotional state. And many women don't notice how deeply their environment is affecting their nervous system every single day. Waking up to piles of laundry, messy counters, loud notifications, chaos everywhere. Rushing through clutter while already feeling mentally overwhelmed, then wondering why they can never fully relax. But your brain responds to your environment constantly. According to psychology and neuroscience research, cluttered environments can increase stress levels, mental fatigue, and feelings of anxiety, because the brain has to process more visual information at once. Which means your surroundings are either calming your nervous system or overstimulating it. And honestly, this is why peaceful spaces feel so healing. A clean kitchen, fresh sheets, soft lighting, quiet music in the background, opening the windows, lighting a candle while getting ready, doing your skincare slowly instead of rushing. Those little moments matter emotionally, because your environment becomes a reflection of your inner world. And maybe that's why when life feels chaotic internally, your environment often starts looking chaotic too. Not because you're lazy, not because you're failing, but because stress drains energy. And many women today are carrying invisible emotional exhaustion. That's why creating a calm morning environment is not about perfection. It's about giving your nervous system a sense of safety. Because when your environment feels calmer, your mind often starts feeling calmer too. Research also shows that organized, clean spaces can improve focus, cognitive function, and emotional well-being. And honestly, you can feel the difference immediately. Think about how different your energy feels when your bed is made, your room smells fresh, sunlight enters your space, soft music is playing, your kitchen is clean, your morning feels slow instead of chaotic, your body relaxes, you breathe differently, because peace is not only emotional, sometimes peace is environmental too. And no, your life does not need to look perfect. This is not about aesthetic pressure. It's not about trying to create an unrealistic perfect girl routine. It's about creating an atmosphere that supports your mental health instead of draining it. Even small habits can completely shift your mornings. Making your bed, cleaning one small area, opening your curtains, putting on calming music, lighting a candle, preparing your breakfast peacefully, slowing down your movements, because healing often begins in the little things. And honestly, one of the most underrated forms of self-respect is creating an environment that feels good to exist in. You can't build a peaceful life while living in constant chaos. Your nervous system was not designed for endless overstimulation. That's why calm morning routines feel different. They remind your body, you do not need to rush. You do not need to panic. You do not need to survive the day before it even begins. And maybe becoming her starts with creating a life that feels softer to wake up to. Because confidence isn't always loud. Sometimes confidence looks like a woman slowly making her coffee in a peaceful kitchen at 7 a.m. Sometimes it looks like choosing calm instead of chaos. Sometimes it looks like protecting your energy before the world demands it from you. And if you've made it this far, comment becoming her below because you're already doing what most people won't. Choosing to improve yourself. You're choosing to heal, to grow, to become more intentional with your life. And honestly, that already makes you different. Because most people continue repeating habits that keep them exhausted. But you're here learning how to change. And the final habits are the ones that truly separate women who feel constantly overwhelmed from women who feel emotionally grounded, focused, and in control of their lives. And this next habit is one that almost everyone ignores. Water. Simple, basic, underrated. Yet so many women wake up already dehydrated. And instead of nourishing their body first, they immediately reach for caffeine, coffee, energy drinks, multiple espresso shots. Not because they truly need it, but because they're trying to force energy out of an exhausted body. And honestly, this has become so normalized that many people don't even realize how much it affects their mood, anxiety levels, focus, hormones, and overall well-being. Because your body is dehydrated after hours of sleep. Think about it. You've gone the entire night without water. Your body has been breathing, repairing, regulating, recovering, and the first thing it needs in the morning is hydration, not more stimulation. According to health and cognitive research, even mild dehydration can affect energy levels, concentration, mood, memory, and mental clarity. Which explains why so many women wake up feeling foggy, sluggish, irritable, tired, mentally disconnected, and then make it worse by immediately flooding their body with caffeine. Now, coffee itself is not the enemy, but timing matters. Because cortisol, your body's natural alertness hormone, is already elevated in the morning as part of your body's wake-up process. And when you drink caffeine immediately after waking, especially on an empty stomach, it can intensify feelings of stress, anxiety, jitters, and nervous system overstimulation for some people. Which is why many women feel shaky, anxious, emotionally reactive. Energy crashes later, dependent on caffeine just to function. Their body isn't receiving nourishment first. It's receiving stimulation first. And there's a huge difference between the two. Because stimulation gives temporary energy, but nourishment creates sustainable energy. And honestly, modern wellness culture taught women to ignore their body's basic needs while chasing productivity. Wake up, drink coffee, rush, push through exhaustion, ignore stress, keep going. But your body was never meant to function like a machine. Your body needs support. That's why something as simple as drinking water first thing in the morning can completely shift how you feel throughout the day. Especially when combined with sunlight, movement, and proper nourishment. Because hydration supports brain function, focus, digestion, circulation, mood, metabolism, energy production, and emotionally, it's also an act of self-care. A quiet reminder that your body deserves care before performance. And maybe that's why slow intentional mornings feel so healing. Pouring cold water into a glass bottle, adding lemon slices, standing near the window while the sunlight enters your room, taking your first sip slowly instead of rushing. Those little moments teach your nervous system something important. You do not have to attack the day. You are allowed to ease into it. And honestly, women who seem calm, grounded, and emotionally balanced often have one thing in common. They stop treating their mornings like emergencies. They support their body before demanding energy from it. So tomorrow morning, before reaching for caffeine immediately, try drinking water first. Even one full glass before coffee can help your body wake up more naturally. You can add lemon, electrolytes, cucumber, mint, Whatever helps you enjoy the habit consistently, because becoming her is often less about dramatic transformations and more about finally giving your body the care it's been asking for all along. And honestly, the next habit may be the most powerful one yet, because it has the ability to completely change your emotional state, confidence, and relationship with yourself. And honestly, the next habit may be the most powerful one yet, because this habit doesn't just change your mornings, it changes your relationship with yourself. Silence. And in a world that constantly profits from your distraction, silence has become rare. Most people wake up and instantly surround themselves with noise, notifications, social media, videos playing in the background, music, stress, constant stimulation, and eventually, they become so disconnected from themselves that they no longer know what they truly feel. They only know what they've consumed. But the strongest women are not always the loudest. Sometimes they're the calmest. Sometimes they're the women who learned how to sit quietly with themselves before the world started speaking to them. And honestly, this is one of the most healing habits you can develop, because silence regulates the nervous system in ways most people completely underestimate. According to mental health and mindfulness research, practices like meditation, deep breathing, prayer, and mindfulness can help reduce stress, lower anxiety levels, improve emotional regulation, and support mental clarity. And emotionally, you can feel the difference. Think about how chaotic life already is. Constant opinions, constant pressure, constant comparison, constant demands. Women especially carry so much invisible emotional noise every day. Trying to be productive enough, beautiful enough, successful enough, calm enough, strong enough. And somewhere in all that noise, many women stop hearing themselves. Their intuition becomes buried under stress and overstimulation. But silence reconnects you with yourself again. That's why peaceful mornings feel so powerful. Not because they're perfect, but because they create space. Space to think, space to breathe, space to feel, space to reset emotionally before the world begins demanding your energy. And honestly, some of the most life-changing moments happen quietly. Sitting with your journal in the morning sunlight, praying before checking your notifications, taking a few deep breaths before rushing into responsibilities, writing down what you're grateful for, sitting in stillness with your coffee instead of instantly consuming content. Those moments seem small, but they slowly change the way you experience life. Because when your mornings become calmer, your reactions become calmer too. You become less emotionally reactive, less anxious, less overwhelmed by every little thing. Not because life became easier, but because your nervous system became stronger. And honestly, many women are constantly searching for confidence without realizing that confidence often grows in quiet moments. In the promises you keep to yourself, in the peace you protect, in the boundaries you create, in the way you care for your mind when nobody else is watching. That's why morning silence matters so much. It teaches you how to hear yourself again. And maybe that's why so many people feel lost today. Because they never spend enough time alone with their own thoughts. The moment silence appears, they reach for distraction. But healing requires stillness sometimes. Growth requires reflection. And peace requires intentional quiet. You cannot hear your intuition in a noisy life. And honestly, your intuition often knows what your overstimulated mind keeps ignoring. It knows when you're exhausted, when you're emotionally drained, when you're settling, when you need rest, when you need change, when you need healing. But if your life is constantly loud, you'll never hear it clearly. That's why even 5 quiet minutes in the morning can completely shift your emotional state. You can pray, journal, meditate, breathe deeply, sit quietly with gratitude, reflect on how you want to feel that day. Not because you're trying to become perfect, but because you're learning how to become present. And honestly, presence is becoming rare. Everyone is rushing, distracted, overstimulated. But peaceful women move differently. They protect their energy carefully. They understand that not every morning should begin with chaos. And maybe becoming her starts with finally creating enough silence to hear who you truly are. And the final habit ties everything together. Because it's the habit that quietly determines whether your mornings feel peaceful or constantly stressful. And the final habit ties everything together. Because it's the habit that quietly determines whether your mornings feel peaceful or constantly stressful. Stop rushing your mornings. Because honestly, so many women wake up every day already in survival mode. Alarm ringing multiple times, jumping out of bed late, running around the house, skipping breakfast, searching for clothes, checking emails while getting ready, feeling behind before the day even truly begins. And after a while, that chaos stops feeling temporary. It becomes your lifestyle. You start living every day in a constant state of urgency. Always rushing. Always anxious. Always overstimulated. Always feeling like you're trying to catch up to your own life. And your nervous system remembers that feeling. Because your mornings teach your nervous system how to experience life. If every morning begins with stress, panic, rushing, and overwhelm, your body starts expecting stress all day long. According to stress and cognitive research, rushing and chronic stress activate the body's stress response system, affecting emotional regulation, focus, anxiety levels, and even decision-making abilities. Which explains why chaotic mornings often create chaotic days. You become more reactive, more impatient, more emotionally exhausted, more mentally scattered. Not because you're incapable, but because your nervous system never had a chance to feel calm from the beginning. And honestly, modern life already moves fast enough. That's why peaceful mornings feel almost revolutionary now. Because slowing down in a world addicted to rushing is powerful. And maybe this is the real glow-up nobody talks about. Not becoming busier, becoming calmer. Because peace is a form of luxury now. And many women are secretly craving it. Craving mornings where they don't immediately feel overwhelmed. Craving softness instead of survival mode. Craving enough time to breathe before the demands of the world begin. But when every morning feels chaotic, your entire life starts feeling chaotic. And eventually, you stop feeling connected to yourself. You're just reacting all day. That's why slowing your mornings down matters so much. Not because you're trying to create a perfect routine, but because your body deserves gentleness too. Your mind deserves softness too. And honestly, small changes make a huge difference. Waking up even 20 to 30 minutes earlier can completely shift the emotional tone of your morning. Not to work more. Not to hustle harder. But to stop feeling rushed. Preparing things the night before also changes everything. Choosing your outfit early. Preparing breakfast ahead of time. Cleaning your space before bed. Organizing your essentials. Setting your intentions for the next day. Little preparation creates less morning stress. And simplifying your routine matters too. Because many women are already mentally overloaded. You do not need complicated systems to become healthier. You need sustainable peace. Simple routines. Simple habits. Simple moments that help your nervous system feel safe. And honestly, the women who seem the calmest are not always women with perfect lives. Sometimes they're simply women who stopped rushing through their own existence. Women who learned how to move slower, breathe deeper, protect their peace, and stop treating every morning like an emergency. Because life is already hard enough. Your morning should not feel like a battle every single day. And maybe becoming her starts the moment you stop waking up in survival mode. The moment you stop rushing yourself. The moment you stop abandoning your needs. The moment you decide your peace deserves protection too. Because the version of you you've been dreaming about, she is not created in chaos. She is created in the quiet habits, the intentional mornings, and the peaceful choices you repeat every single day. And maybe becoming her starts the moment you stop waking up in survival mode. Because the truth is, the woman you want to become isn't created overnight. She's created by the habits you repeat every single morning. The small things, the quiet things, the things nobody claps for. Drinking water instead of ignoring your body. Opening your curtains instead of immediately reaching for your phone. Taking a walk instead of staying trapped in your thoughts. Nourishing yourself instead of surviving on stress and caffeine. Creating peace instead of chaos. Choosing stillness instead of constant overstimulation. Those moments seem small, but they slowly shape your identity. And honestly, that's what most people misunderstand about transformation. They think becoming healthier, happier, calmer, more confident, or more feminine happens through one dramatic life change. But real transformation usually happens quietly, in ordinary mornings, repeated consistently, because every habit teaches your brain something. Every morning, your habits are either telling your body, you matter. Your health matters. Your peace matters. Your future matters. Or they're reinforcing stress, exhaustion, chaos, and emotional neglect. And maybe that's why so many women feel disconnected from themselves. Because they spend so much time taking care of everything else, while abandoning themselves in the process. But healing begins the moment you finally start showing up for yourself too. Not perfectly, not all at once, just intentionally. Because every glass of water matters. Every healthy breakfast matters. Every morning walk matters. Every moment of silence matters. Every boundary matters. Every small peaceful choice matters more than you think. Those habits are not little. They are building your future self. And honestly, the healthiest women are not always the women doing the most. Sometimes they're simply the women who learned how to protect their nervous system. Women who stopped glorifying burnout. Women who stopped rushing through life. Women who realize that peace is productive too. Because confidence isn't only about appearance. Real confidence is waking up and feeling connected to yourself again. Feeling emotionally grounded, mentally clear, physically supported, calm in your own body, safe in your own presence. And maybe that's the real glow up. Not becoming someone else, but finally returning to yourself. The softer version of you. The healthier version of you. The peaceful version of you. The version of you that isn't constantly exhausted trying to survive life. And no, you do not need to become perfect overnight. You do not need a perfect routine, a perfect body, perfect life. You just need to start showing up for yourself consistently, one healthy choice at a time, one peaceful morning at a time, one intentional habit at a time. Because consistency changes people more than motivation ever will. And even if nobody told you this today, your life can change. Your energy can change. Your mindset can change. Your confidence can grow. Your habits can heal you. Your mornings can become peaceful again. Starts with the little choices, the quiet choices, the intentional choices you repeat every day. Because one peaceful, intentional morning at a time, you become her. If this video helped you, don't forget to subscribe for more wellness, glow up, and healthy lifestyle content designed to help you become the best version of yourself. And before you go, comment below which morning habit you want to start first. Also make sure to watch the next video on your screen right now, because it's going to help you continue your journey toward becoming healthier, calmer, more confident, and more aligned with the woman you're becoming. And remember, becoming her starts with how you choose to care for yourself every single morning.